Incremental readings. In this video, I'm going to focus on one of the many advantages of incremental reading, and it's the uniform progress. So I just call it balancing specialization and general knowledge. One of the huge advantages in incremental reading. Then, there's a new approach to daily study. Usually, so instead of focusing in a single subject, you review dozens of areas each day. Areas on the same field of science, or different fields, or unrelated. Could be, cognitive neuroscience and parenting. Something unrelated, or health. So there's a harmoniously deepen all facets of your knowledge according to your needs and interests. Yes, I do care. Let's say about I work in a startup, so I do care about this, about some business, about marketing. I also want to learn that language. I also care about health, about meta learning, about memory, sleep, all of that, right? Usually you will say, oh yeah, I will focus on one subject and that's it. And you will progress on that subject mostly. And in other areas you will be bare bones. So instead of this fancy wording, you have like this quote. Wisdom flourishes when knowledge branches out in all directions. So poetic. And that's the key. So then, guide by understanding. So the growth of your knowledge tree, it's kind of too Supermemo jargon, but there's no other way to do it, follows your current levels of understanding. So more or less what you will see here, the tilt in the knowledge tree, is more or less what is your level of understanding, what you have been doing, checking down. Then, as you learn terminology and the fundamental concepts, more advanced ideas become accessible. I read an article in Wikipedia about something, let's say that I start with health. And with health, I get, what is this? mTOR, Fiestin, what is all of this jargon? What are T cells, B cells, interleukin 2, bacteria? What is this? Is that even English? Right? More or less. So I'm saying I'm familiar with the terminology, the jargon, and the fundamental concepts of, in that case, biochemistry or whatever. I have access to ideas that build upon that. So I can start, let's say, the progress of that field. So as the roots strengthen, higher branches reach further into the unknown, following the analogy of the knowledge tree. So in the knowledge tree, I just have branches that they don't exist yet. When I read that, I will make the close relation. So I will make the extract. And now here, my knowledge tree has increased. There's a new branch. And in here, I will also do like this, now I know that fisetin can be found in many plants, including this thing. If I already know what is this, I know what is that, I can create this flashcard. I know this fact. So as the roots strengthen, higher branches reach for further into the known. Cool. Then, diversifying the knowledge tree. What happens is that I just did a random example in my collection, but I have education, I have business, I have cognition, and all of that. I have diversified. I have different fields of science and topics. So instead of growing a few thickets of branches of expertise, cultivate many twigs in all directions. That's the beauty of incremental reading. Simultaneously, add bulk to the trunk, the core knowledge, while branching into new areas. So as I still go and chunk down the basics of chemistry and biology and stuff like that, in parallel, I will still go into new areas. That is more, let's say, what was the name I used? Because they become accessible. Because let's say that when I'm building the basics of chemistry and biology, I already know the basics of business. I can advance because they're accessible. So I'm doing more advanced stuff in business while I'm doing in parallel stuff that is basic on chemistry. I'm diversifying the knowledge tree. So at the end of the day, a tree that only grows one branch cannot truly embrace the sky. So it grows, well, there's a key word for that, dendritically, like the neurons. So what you do is you avoid tunnel vision. With incremental reading, you ensure that you don't become a specialist. That this specialist, a PhD in whatever you want, super specific, is at the same time an ignorant of basic general knowledge. So imagine this, that medical experts will know just the basic of this, that, oh yeah, it's a constellation or whatever, and astronomers would understand healthy diets. What could happen is that a specialist, or something that is very specialist, that not many people on Earth knows that, but they lack the general knowledge of what a healthy diet is, or something like that. So true expertise stands on the landscape of broad awareness, not to an isolated peak. What happens with incremental reading, because you have many stuff at the same time, you will know a lot of many different things, and then some intensities. When you decided that you want to dig further and further, because you like it, or because it's your passion, it's required for your job, whatever, you are an expert on this, on that, not just one, by the way, you can be a polymath, but you don't discard miscellaneous, whatever you want to remember. So about prioritization and balance. Supermemo helps you prioritize learning in various fields. And it's actually, I would say, a must. That doesn't mean that I have multiple fields. I have chemistry, health, astronomy, all of that, medicine, and each field has a priority. Perhaps an app you can use has its heuristic. But in incremental reading, no. It's every single source, could be an article, a research paper, a tweet, a book, textbook, a YouTube video, a podcast, whatever, a recorded conversation you had, whatever that is, that can be processed. This will have a priority. But later you can chunk this down, and every chunk will have its own priority. And you can chunk down a chunk if you want. So you can distill this as it is atomic, and every single thing you can fine tune this, and everything will have its own priority, regardless or interspersed with the field of science. That overall for me, astronomy is low priority. Will have a tendency that all I do in astronomy is kind of low priority, but this can also mean that some will be outliers and will be kind of high priority. So at the end of the day, I can fine tune this balance of depth, specialization, and breadth, the widen, the general knowledge. That I know a lot of different things about health, do this, do that, eat this, avoid that. And at the same time, for instance, I know a lot about Supermemo. I have a very depth of specialization, but I did everything at the same time with incremental reading. So then, the quote: great learners cultivate both the microscope and the telescope. That is massive. I have, to be honest, this is not mine. I had to use the AI for that, and this is massive. Microscope with this encapsulates all I have said about biology and astronomy. And also at the same time, is that every single detail in the microscope in a very atomic way, and the very wide perspective of telescope, watts, miles away. It's poetic, and it's also correct at the same time. It's a masterpiece done by AI. Benefits of balanced approach. Then more adaptable problem solving, creativity, and richer intellectual life. So the benefits of this balanced approach, that I can do let me do and a specialist on this, I want to dig further. And this is just the broad stuff of many different domains. And the more domains you do, the more concepts you can have if you want. Concepts, I mean the element type of concept. So the advantage is that you can adapt to problem solving, creativity, and richer intellectual life. Because I have known people in the academia, yes, I can have conversations about, in my case, I was doing a PhD, which I moved on, by the way, about physiology, then perhaps they were soccer fans, and other than that, they are completely ignorant. You cannot have meaningful conversations of the creativity, learning, or why are we alone in life, or I don't know, habits, knowledge, all of this that I will also be interesting to discuss about is, wow. So then, incremental reading prevents stagnation of narrow specialization and encourages interdisciplinary insights. You could be in a field of science that itself is interdisciplinary. Cognitive neuroscience, of what I did, sport physiology. So yes, it's physiology, but it's for humans, it's for healthy individuals, and more specifically for athletes, or then even more specific, for pro athletes, not amateurs, professional, elite level of athletes. The physiology, when the fatigue and the ergogenic aids, all of that. That's what I did as a master's degree. I'm part of the PhD. It's very narrow. That the subject has some condition, medical condition. I don't know. I only work with healthy people. That they are amateurs. They are not fit enough. They are not close to their maximum level of physiology. Then I don't know. I don't work with those people. I had a very narrow view. That's what happened in the academia. With incremental reading, now is, wow. I have history, whatever I care about history, writing, language, linguistics, cognitive science, neuroscience, and I could speak quite a lot about what I have. So I have in this collection 18,000 items of what I have chosen to remember. I could say that I have a few thousand about Supermemo because it's a specialist and a specialization of mine. But I have a few of this, a few of that, a few of that, a few of that, a few of that, a few of that. Body language, but now they see that programming, hosting a web page, syntax for my website, plenty of stuff, psychology and so on. So then, when your knowledge fields cross-pollinate, new ideas bloom. Again, the quotes are done by AI, all of them. That's why they're so fancy. I will never say that in my life. But I want to summarize the ideas in one single sentence. But yeah, in more plain English, is that if I know different levels of reality, different perspectives of realities, different domains, I can have all of this information accessed by my brain. And it's when new ideas can be born. Hey, I know this. I know about just the basics of chess. I know about this about machine learning. Oh, this about perhaps biology. That you will say, what? What about biology? And then, hey, I see an analogy, or perhaps not analogy, but it seemed like related, but this sparked an idea, a crazy idea. So it's not the original thing, but hey, with this information I had in different domains, I had an idea that I was impossible to have if I was not knowledgeable on those different domains. Then, conclusion. Incremental reading diversifies and strengthens your knowledge tree. Again, too much Supermemo is specific, but you get all of your knowledge. that you have in your mind. By maintaining a healthy balance, you achieve both depth and breadth of understanding. You win. In any single dimension, you win. Following the analogy with the trees, in the forest of knowledge, every branch, leaf, and twig contributes to the whole. In other less poetic manner, every victory you do is permanent. Every piece of knowledge you retain in your memory that you decided to remember and that you formulated because of what you have read and understood. Oh, what is the boson? So then, because you have done all of the learning process, and then you keep it in your memory because of a special petition in a flashcard format, even if it's very small, it's not even a leaf in the Supermemo, that will be a topic still. A topic that has no children. Or it's not even a branch. It's just less than a branch. It's just one item. One item. It's even if it's very small, it still contributes to the whole. Every single thing you do is a victory. Every victory is permanent. And with this, you accumulate knowledge, you build the big picture. You diversify and strengthen your knowledge tree, your forest of knowledge. That's why in Supermemo, in the long term, it's a win-win. You can only win. If you don't give up, you use Supermemo, well, in this case Supermemo, but in incremental reading, how it's meant to be used properly, let's say, and you master Supermemo, you can only win. It's not about if you win or not, you achieve victory. It's when, every day, by the way, every day you win, just very small. But the accumulation of many victories, then it's massive. So, even if you have a uniform progress, and you balance specialized knowledge and general knowledge, you will achieve the best version of yourself. Guaranteed. And you will decide what this version is, according to yourself. That's all for now. See you incrementally.